The day has finally come. One of my flips from hell has gotten an offer. So I'm gonna walk you through my offer. Now this is the house that was completely destroyed by termites. Almost anything that could go wrong went wrong. And then I put it on the market for sale, and the back room had like sunk. I had to completely redo that, redo a concrete walkway, take it off the market, fire that real estate agent. I hired a new real estate agent, which if you're in Houston, Texas, I'm gonna give you this single greatest realtor ever for you guys to use. He has been knocking it out of the park for me, not only for this flip, but the other flip, the one that I've had for over a year that had permit issues. Look, I've been getting beat down, but at least I've been documenting this entire process like nobody else has. So in today's video, I got all the numbers right here of what I'm gonna make or lose, and then I'm gonna discuss the entire closing process per se. So I'm also gonna tell you all of the mistakes that I made and what I would have done completely differently. And then I'm gonna take one of the questions that you guys asked me. I went through all of my comments. I replied to a bunch of them, and one of you guys asked right here, given what you know now, would you have invested in the previous 3 flips? Well, I also got another very interesting comment I want to read. You know, you guys are just the best. Can you house flippers stop renovating houses to be more expensive? Could you fuck over the younger generations any harder? I don't know, sir. Yes, I do get the most random comments, but for the most part, you guys are all amazing and been with me throughout this entire journey. And if you are new to this YouTube channel, my name's Jackson Wilkie with the Ground Up House Flipping YouTube channel. So for the past now about 14, 15 months, I have taken the camera with me everywhere throughout my entire journey. There was all the gurus out there who'd flipped 80 million homes and they'd never made a mistake. And I was wanting to get into house flipping for 2-3 years. I read every book, listened to every podcast, and I just wouldn't jump in. I finally did, and I've documented the whole thing. So if that's the kind of videos and content you want, make sure that you hit the like button. That's what helps me out, but you subscribe and you don't miss it. So the house, you guys saw it in some of the B-roll. It was a house that I had flipped. I had bought it for $125,000. And then again, what I like to do is just kind of show you the proof of everything, because that was the other thing that I realized is, you know, people would talk about, oh, I bought it for $100,000 and I sold it for $250 and I made $150 grand. And you're like, what about everything else in between? So look at this list, guys. I mean, there's freaking 20 items on here of different costs, right? So the actual signed contract is right here, $125,000. And I also had to pay my, which I forgot to add that on here. Yo, homie, see, I'm a realist, because that's going to make me lose even more money. Just a little heads up. $3,000 was the, let's see if I wrote that on the top. $3,000 bucks I'm going to add to this list. So basically my purchase price was about $128,000. And then the budget. So this is where it got a little interesting. We got the budget here. As you can see, my budget was $75,850. So just real quick math with the numbers given, we purchased it for $128,000. We really felt that, and again, so I'm going to answer that question. Would you do things differently? Hell yes, I would do so many things differently, but I'm going to tell you where my mindset was, because many of you may have forgotten and kind of just see that I'm getting my ass kicked. One, the market conditions. I don't think we saw a worse market in a long time than what we saw basically Q4 of last year. There were no properties selling. It's gotten a little bit hotter, and it really excites me going forward, and I know a hell of a lot more. But then we got the budget sitting right below us here at $75,850. So that's a total of $203,850 just right there out the gate. I'm going to write that number down, $203,850. So with that in mind, we were like, okay, we could probably bang this thing out 4 or 5 weeks. Now, I get it, okay? I totally get it, guys, that you should expect 6 months and renovations. I was naive at that point, one, but two, my contractor had already done a couple flips for me and was doing them in 3 to 4 weeks, 5 weeks max, so I was pretty confident in it. And guess what? It basically took that long. I mean, they hauled ass, and we had over 80% of the studs destroyed by termites. I think we ended up having to put in an additional 300 and some odd studs. I mean, the termites destroyed this place. They turned it into sawdust, but thankfully it wasn't completely ruined. And he was able to, you know, get that lumber, and it wasn't an additional cost, but they fixed a lot. So we hauled ass and had the thing done in like 4 or 5 weeks, right? So you can see here the date, May 15th of 2024. As of the day I'm shooting this, it's March 19th. So March, April, May, 10 months, right? So if it only took 5 weeks to renovate, what the hell was the problem? That's what we're gonna discuss today, plus total numbers. So right out of the gate, we were thinking, man, because we were looking at the comps, and again, guys, look at the date, May. So this was springtime. The market was still pretty good, and we had been looking at the past 3-6 months of sales, and there was great comps. There was you know, action in the market. By the time we got this whole thing done and everything was set to go, and then we finally got it listed, we had all stuff. We had hit that Q4, and the market just collapsed. I mean, it absolutely died. And I know there's going to be people who hit this and be like, well, I could sell in any market, and it doesn't matter if you make a good product. I don't really give a shit what you say or do. I talk to flippers all across the country. I was getting dozens and dozens of emails. I was getting all of your guys' comments. Oh my God, my flips are sitting too. It was a bad period. I do feel like we're kind of digging out of it. Things have just looked, you're starting to notice stuff go pending, but hey, it just is what it is. I'm a realist, okay? If I'm gonna document my house flipping journey, I'm just gonna be real with what happened. So we were like, okay, we'll get this thing done, we'll get it fixed, flipped up, and we can sell this thing. Our goal was like, all right, shoot, instead of doing one big one at a time, he's like, hey, I got 5-6 crews. I can handle up to 5 or 6 flips at a time. And I'm like, okay. So I was talking with Hard Money Joe, and I talked to some other flippers, and there's really a couple different styles of house flipping you can do. You can go more of like, hey, I'm gonna do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these at a time, do smaller ones that have maybe a little less spread, but they have a lot less risk as well. And I'm just gonna knock out, as long as I can make 15 grand per property or 20 grand, that's my goal. Then there's the other half who's like, and it's not half and half, but there's another side of it that's more like, I'm just gonna find a really good area, good property, and it's gonna cost me a little more, but the spread is bigger, and I'll just manage the one. That's where I'm gonna head next, most likely, is just kind of that more of a bigger style flip. It's what I enjoy, my wife enjoys. I don't like these little small ones, and yet you talk to people who do the more smaller, the quicker ones, they can knock them out 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever. They're like, I would never in a million years touch a more expensive one. There's more risk, there's more. It doesn't matter. You do what you enjoy and stick with it. Don't do what I did. So this all got into my head, and I'm like, well, shoot, all right. Why don't I just do 3 smaller ones where I can make 20 to 40K per, and just start doing those, you know, and getting them done quick, because I can see how fast he works. And I'll split it with my contractor, so some of the costs are down, and we'll split the profits, and it's also going to incentivize him to work quicker. All of that was kind of a mess. In fact, I haven't even talked to my contractor in, shoot, 2 months. That's a whole different story, and I had a whole video on that and just an update. Yeah, we really haven't talked, so I'm going to sell these things, get all my money back out. I'm going to move forward in a different direction, and I'm going to document the whole thing. Plus, I got some crazy stuff coming up, guys, and you guys comment down below. I'm curious. I actually think what I'm going to do too is I'm so curious about this, and even though I've done 5 flips and I feel like I've learned a lot, there's like a million questions I still have. So I want to start tagging along to some other flippers in the area of all different types of flips and just be a fly on the wall, ask them questions. So are you guys interested in me going around and touring other flippers, commercial flippers, house flippers? I don't care. Pancake flippers. I'll go to the Waffle House. I will interview flippers. You guys let me know if you guys want to see that. Plus, me and Hard Money Joe, we got something brewing. It's going to come up in the next few weeks, next month. That's going to help you guys. And guess what? It's not going to cost you anything. I don't want to. I'm getting emails every day of, you should be selling courses. I don't want to. I'm learning how to flip, and I'm documenting it to help you guys. So anyways, you're going to want to subscribe, follow along, see all the cool stuff that we're developing on the backside to help you guys. With that being said, I thought let's just knock out a bunch of these at 2, 3 at a time, make 20, 30K. That's what I thought. That's where we went. The numbers here, 203. I was like, okay, we could sell it. You know, the numbers were really supporting that, even just 240, 250 mark. And at the time, I think we were like, man, you know, there was another property that sold for 285 right around the corner, and it was done nicely. So I'm like, there's some upside. I don't look at upside anymore in these markets, but that's where we were thought. So I was like, dude, we could easily make 20, 30K on this one. And my contractor's like, I can knock it out like that. So I was like, 20K, you know, make 10. And on the good side, maybe we'll make 15, 20 grand each. Let's roll. That's why I did what I did. So I can get beat up in the comment. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. I ended up losing money, and I'm going to start going through everything here. So with that being said, I want to prove it to you guys and not just make it up. So if and I'm not like Joe with these fancy spreadsheets, but I can kind of go through everything. Now we have 203,000, and I just got the payoff. So when you do these, you have payoffs, and that's like, okay, now you've had this hard money loan, and this is how much you owe us now, which is, you know, the budget that they gave you plus buying the property and all that. I had to put a lot of money down on this property. I don't know if you guys remember, because it only appraised. So even when you do a hard money loan, you have to get an appraisal. So that's one thing that I had to pay for, was an appraisal, and that is $525 paid appraisal right here. So that's part of the cost, right? I paid $525. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, okay? Where did that? And when that appraisal came in, it came in more in like that 220, 230 range. And I was like, do you guys, if you guys are my OG followers, you remember I did a video on I had a panic attack. I'd never had a panic attack in my life. I woke up in the middle of the night, sweating, breathing hard, absolutely freaking out. I've never been through an outer body experience like that in my life. And it was right before I was closing on this house, because I ended up having to put so much money into this house to close on it. Now, that's money that I get back. It's basically held in like a savings account. So the reason I say that is because my payoff, I'm going to bring it up for you guys real quick, and then I'm going to talk about my offer that I got, everything else. So this is the payoff that I just received, and as you can see, and it's as of 4/4. So please add $57 for each additional day past 4/4. Right now we're at 3/19 with it. I think I showed you guys, but the scheduled closing date of 3/31. So just in case it goes longer, yes, the interest paid is $57.95 a day. So the earlier I close this, the more money I save here. But my total payoff is $178,278.08. Oops, and that's on 4/4. So we are expected to close on 3/31. So this could be 50, 200 and something dollars. It could be right at about 178,000. So I'm just for simple numbers going to write 178,000, because that's, I mean, if anything, it's a mini Christmas. I can't 178,000. Okay. So if we go to the calculator real quick, can't do anything because you guys don't even know what it purchased. I'll show you the offer real quick. And my wife's texting me. She's got to take my man van in. It's got a slow leak in a tire. I get more flat tires here in Houston than anywhere in the world. All right, so here is the email I got. What's up, Jackson? Now, he'd been texting me like, dude, we got an offer. And it was only, I don't know, 10 days or something after he listed. He got activity. He held me an open house. In fact, I'm going to pimp him out right now because this is my guy. I'm telling you right now. Giovanni Frank, you want to know how I met him too? The craziest thing, when I sold my second flip, which was in Baytown, he was the buyer's agent, and we started talking, and he was like super cool. And I'm like, do you get other investment property? He goes, all the time, and I'm down this area. So we went back and forth. So then I'm doing these flips, and I'm down in his neck of the woods, so I'm asking him questions, and he's just on the spot. Do this, do this, do this, do this. In fact, I've had so many side conversations of, hey, I'm about to sell this house, buyers in that area, would they want this or that? He goes, nope, if you're on the west side of town, they only want this and this and this. If you're on this side of town, super knowledge. So I'm like, hey, dude, will you sell these for me? He's like, hell yeah, dude. So I thought by hiring the #1 team in Houston that it would like give me all this exposure, and it was the opposite. They no love. I mean, it was basically like, I don't even want to sell this hunk of shit. Giovanni, dude, I'm telling you guys, his name's Giovanni. There's his number. Giovanni at Lionsgate Realty is his email. If you're in the Houston market and you want somebody to sell your freaking and pay this dude, pay him what he's worth. He's worth $1 million. This dude sells, because guess what? You can already see offer Homan. This is the one. Yeah, that baby got an offer too. I'll do another video on it, just like this one, because this thing sold like that, and it's a great offer. So we're getting great offers. Plus, he negotiated for me. So okay, here's the offer. Offer came in at 249,999,999. That's what it's listed at. It's listed at 249.9, so it's a full price offer. FHA loan, 7-day option, but 10,000 in concessions. What does that mean? That means that basically they're offering 250, but they want me to pay $10,000, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. What that means, this is a buyer that wants to pay less money out of pocket. Okay, so they're cool having a loan for 250 to whatever, 260,000, 240,000, but they just don't want to come out of pocket for their closing costs so much. So if I pay them $10,000 in concessions, that's $10,000 that they can buy down their rate. That's $10,000. That's basically me covering their closing costs, so they don't even have to come out of pocket much money. That's where that money goes. It is super normal in this market. It's actually the most normal thing. And if you're a buyer right now looking for just your primary home, that's what I would be asking for from the sellers so that you don't have to come out of pocket much. So I already knew selling this, talking to everybody, that's what was going to happen. And a closing date right there of 3/31, which I think we're still on track for. And you might be like, well, why are they doing April 4th, 4/4? They do it just in case. As you see there, they have it calculated, and when you have a hard money loan, every day you're accruing interest, right? And so they'll give you like this 2-week window of, if you sell it on any of these dates, this is the exact amount that we are owed. So that's why it goes out. Again, I'm a new flipper. I'm new to selling this stuff, so like it's all new to me. I know there's seasoned people out there. This is all the stuff they skipped over. So my first few flips, and even now, I'm like, what is this stuff? That's why I document all this on this channel. So subscribe, because there is no other channel like this. And the realtor's asking for 3% commission here in Texas. That's totally normal. So none of this is crazy. This is exactly what I expected. So I thought about it for a little bit. And then what I did is I actually text one of my buddies in a different state who flips. And he's very, 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 very good at real estate. And I told him, what would you do in this situation? Because selling this thing means more than anything to me right now. So I don't want to scare this buyer off. So he told me, and basically I copied what he told me. And this is what he said. And this is what I replied back to Giovanni with. Exactly what I expected. There's my boy. Oh, look at that boy right there, Giovanni. You got to hit him up. How's your conversations been with the buyer's agents? Because that's what my buddy said. How's it been? How long has it been on the market, and how's the conversation going, right? So, and this is what you guys should say. Let me know if this sounds good or is crazy. This would be a phone call with the agent before we wrote anything. So what my buddy said is, don't try and just send an offer back. You'll never come up with any kind of answer. Have your agent call the other agent. And first thing that you need to tell that agent is, we are so happy about this offer. We can't wait to work with your buyers, and we want to pay you your full commission. You brought this buyer, you deserve it. That builds up those agents, those buyers agents, right? They want that 3% commission to their squishy. So that's what he said to do. Say, where am I? Right here. Say, clients, say, thanks so much, and we really want to work with you. He thinks you deserve your 3% and wants to pay that, but the bottom line is $250,000, but he'll negotiate. So what we're saying is $250K to me. Well, the offer is $250K, but it's $10,000 in concessions. So really it's at $240. So this is what we said to do. Raise the offer. And say traffic has started to pick up for the spring season, and there's been more interest, which is actually not a lie. We actually started getting a lot of showings, and we had other people interested in offering. They didn't, but it wasn't an untruthful statement. But regardless, this is what we said. Let's raise the offer to $260,000. I'll pay the $10,000 in the closing costs. I'll pay the 3% to the realtor. If it doesn't appraise, I will cover anything between $250 to $260. If it's below $250, that's a different conversation. If that's good, we will write it up and send it over. Honest thoughts. He goes, this is what Giovanni said. That's what I would counter at. Only concern would be appraisal and buyer needing $10,000 to close. If the appraisal comes in lower and the buyer can't move forward without the $10,000, then that would take us off the market for a few weeks, lock us into that appraisal for 90 days, even if the deal falls through. I would counter at $260, but prepare for $10K even at a lower appraisal, worst case scenario. And I said, yes, $10,000 is there no matter what to help the buyers close. If appraisal comes in lower, we will make this happen, but Give the agent a call and try to settle this over the phone before we write it. Thanks, homie. He said, yes, sir. I'll have the combo with the buyer's agent and lender in the morning. Excited to get this sold for you. So he wanted to talk to the lender as well because he had already talked to the agent and the buyers were, and because the lender, which is a good move on a lender's part, it makes me as a seller feel more confident when the lender says, yes, they are approved for this, it's good to go. But I know they were right up there at their budget at that 250, 260 mark. So he talked to him the next morning and the lender goes, you know what, they're cool with that, but at the same time, they really wanted to max out at the 255 when they were running numbers, and that's where the lender said, and I stopped him, I said, accept it. I don't care. I was kind of, not shocked, but I was excited, right? So what that meant is that their offer price of $249,900, basically $250,000, we got it up to $255,000, so $5,000 above list price, and I'll pay the $10,000 in concessions. So what that means basically was I'm getting an offer for $245,000, right? So for me in my pocket, it really doesn't matter if I take 10 grand here or took 10 grand off the sell price. It's the same to me. It means the world to the buyer because that's $10,000 out of their pocket. So these are things too that I think now there's the new NAR settlements and stuff that you can, you know, put in secret or like your agent can talk about, like, hey, we are offering seller concessions, because or buyer concessions, a lot of buyers want less money out of pocket and they may put it in the offer anyways. So you can maybe raise that price. Anyways, that's something you can talk to my main man, Giovanni Frank, about. But I was pumped. Man, he sold it like that. Now we're still working through closing. So where we're at today, this was back March, at the very, very beginning of March. So now we're at March 19th. We closed, you know, next week-ish, in about 10 days. We may be able to close a little early, but regardless, we've gone through every period. Now we're going through appraisal period. That's why I had kind of like a week gap, 2-week gaps in videos. You guys are probably, where's this guy at? I didn't want to just keep shooting this video and shooting it and shooting it and updating it. I tried to get everything, but I'm like, I need to shoot this damn video. So we are trying to get the appraisal. And in the next video, when I talk about my other flip and all the numbers and everything, the Baytown one that was crazy, I'll tell you about if this appraised or not. And maybe it'll come in while we're talking. I don't know. I could text Giovanni right now. Did appraisal come in? I'm shooting a video and I'm telling everybody about how gangster you are as an agent. He's gonna like that. I'm telling you though. I'm not, I don't get anything out of it. It's literally if you want somebody who represents you and moves properties, he does it, because I had to unlist, it sucked. So regardless, I'm gonna show you the numbers that we're at now, okay? So again, I want to go through, and some people go, man, your freaking videos are so long. I don't care. I got to get the real information out there. If you ain't got time, if you want to go watch YouTube shorts about all the gurus who sell shit for like $8 billion and never make a mistake, go ahead. But your boy here is just telling the truth. I'm an honesty broker. That's what I am. So we got the Shore Acres flip. You can see here we got HUD closing. This is when we closed. I had to come out of pocket $31,276. Now, I don't want to go into it because we have the flip calculator down in the description, but if you have a good 70% deal, which means your budget and the purchase price, so if you bought the house for $100,000 and your budget's $50,000, if that is 70% loan to value, meaning like what they think the ARV is, I can't do the math in my head, but it would be, I don't know, 250,000, 260,000. Basically, all you do is come out of pocket 10 grand for closing costs and all that stuff. That 10 grand is basically baked into almost every deal that you lose. That's what you pay to play. I've done a million videos on this. You can go and watch it. But if you have to pay anything on top of that, it's because the gap between what they think the property's worth and what they're loaning you is shrinking. Does that make sense? So they're like, you know what? We don't think the house. That's why when the appraisal came in at like 230 something, I was like, oh my God, it doesn't mean that's where it's selling at. That's just what they put the value at. So I had to come out of pocket like 30 something grand on this. So just to get my money back of what I put in, I think was 30,000. Again, 10,000 of that I lose, closing costs. So there's 20 grand there, but I got a whole list of stuff that I paid right here that I got to get back. So now we know the numbers. I owe 178,000. I'm selling it for $245,000. Remember, 255 plus 10K in concessions, so it's basically 245. I'm going to subtract 178,000. So I have $67,000 to work with is what I have. So once I pay off my loan to them, I'm basically going to get $67,000 put into my bank account, okay? I sold it for $245. I owe the hard money lender $178,000. You might be doing some math. Wait, you bought it for 128 or 125 and they gave you 78,000 in budget. Yes, I had to pay that extra amount because they didn't think that it was worth that much. So with that being said, okay, look at Giovanni, man. He's already back on it. He says, oh, you guys probably can't see that. Anyways, he said, not yet, but I told the lender, put it in a rush order since their normal turnaround is 5 days. I'm shooting for this week, the next day or so. And I really appreciate it, bud. I like people who just answer. You're my guy, Giovanni. So with that being said, I hope I'm explaining this in detail enough. And I want you guys to know the real deal so that when you get into these flips, you're not getting sold that there's just all this money there. There's a lot of money in flipping, and I couldn't be more excited to keep going. And I got new strategies. Hey, you got to take your lumps and bruises. But I learned a master's degree, and it just cost me 67 grand. But my goal, again, as I break this down, is the hell that I've gone through for the past, well, shoot, 12 months, year. I had a really good one, then I made money on my second one, and then I've got, and then I made some money. I think, what did me and Joe, we walked away with 18, 20 grand, not each, but on that spring flip. So I've made money on 3 of them. One of them I made, what was it, like 1,900 or 2,000 bucks. And then I might lose some money on these. But if I can get the money that I put into it back out, right? I mean, we're talking about, here's 67,000, and if I spent 67, that'd be pretty nice to get back in the account. I just look at it as like, all right, it's a wash, give me my money. So 67,000. This is in an area that had flooded. I had to get flood insurance because we're in Texas and it's in a flood zone. 2,348. Okay, guys, I'm not lying about nothing I do. Minus 2,348. We're done at 64,000. Shit. Foundation. You guys remember I had foundation stuff, okay? Now, here's the quote. It was $38,750, but all I had them do was level this back area, which I thought they were gonna level it, and they didn't. And I did the videos on this. They went through, and what they did is they popped 3 big holes, and then they put a bunch of steel reinforcement in here, and then just filled it back up. And I walked in there, I'm like, well, this is still lumpy as shit. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, we just said we're gonna support it. I'm like, I thought it was to level. Anyways, they said, nope, we just support it. We're not there to level it. So then they said, we'll come back for 1,800 bucks and we'll level it. Then they called and they're like, yeah, we can't do it. Well, my contractor, I finally got on him enough. He went, pulled the carpet up and had his guy go mix this extra super strength concrete. I think he popped some holes in here, ran some rebar, and he leveled this thing, and it looked it was amazing. Even Giovanni went in, he's like, yeah, this is a lot better. So with that being said, the good news is we're already past inspection period. I'm going to show you the inspection. Nothing foundation came up. It was all good. And I put it in the seller's disclosures. I already showed them all this. I showed them that I did foundation work, so it's not like I'm hiding anything. But I was like, I'm not going to raise the front. This is the garage. Why would I? No, none of it was cracked. It was good. So anyways, it was 800 bucks to do this. Guys, sorry, I explained everything. So minus 800. Next. Listing photos, I get the best listing photos. I already talked about that in another video. So my listing photos, and you might be like, well, why didn't the agent, I took care of them. We had a separate little deal, and I already had them done anyways before I was gonna use Giovanni. So anyways, it was 200 bucks. If you use an agent, part of the commission you pay them, I guess it's negotiable. They cover that, but I paid my own, and I love the company that I use. And they actually can doctor stuff up too if they need to add cabinets or whatever. So I did that. Appraisal, do you guys remember? That's not afterwards. That was my appraisal for hard money. So I'm at 63. My appraisal was 500. I already showed it to you. 525 bucks. Okay. Survey, I had to pay to get a survey done. There was no survey with the property. You have to have that in Texas. So I paid for it, but it's also transferable. I'm handing it over. 487 bucks for a survey serve. That equals 62. Then the walkway, do you guys remember? I listed the property and then I took it off the market, and I wanted to get that walkway because it was all nasty and sloped, and between that and the back room, everybody's like, oh, this house is falling apart. I just wanted to get it fixed so people walked in. Brand new driveway, brand new walkway. This thing, you know, it sold quick, and then Giovanni pimped it out there and did open houses and worked it, dude. Plus, he was the one who really I was racking my brain if I should do it or not. He's like, I'm telling you right now, I walk a lot of buyers around. They're going to notice this. They're going to notice it's cracked. Their mind's already going to say this. I would get it fit. And I'm like, all right. So don't cut corners on flips, guys, in this market. Make sure everything is done. The biggest lesson I learned, get the shit done and do it right. 62,000 minus 1,700. Okay, I think I messed it up, so I redid it again. Minus 1,700. Yeah, there we go. 60,940. Next up, the garage door got broken. It wasn't working, so I called and got the garage door fixed. It was $220, and that also got me a couple remotes and stuff, and nothing came up on spec. I knew I was gonna have to fix it anyways, so I did it beforehand. So it's 60,000. Okay, then the termites. I went back and found my bill for termites. I don't know if it's actually in here. I should have it, but I found the email, or sorry, yeah, the email that had it. But I did a whole video on the termites, and I showed the termite inspector guy, the guy who did it, and how much it cost. But you know me, I ain't BSing you. It was $1,136. Then I had utilities, and I put it at $1,000. I think that's actually a little bit more than what I spent. I didn't spend a lot. In fact, my gas was turned off the entire time till the very end. I didn't even know that I didn't have a gas meter. And the power wasn't much. I had to do like a $250 deposit for gas. I'll get that back. But having it for about 10 months with the power bills and stuff and everything, it was right around. I added all of it up, but I got like 3 properties going right now, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But $1,000 is probably a little bit more than what it was, but it's right there. We'll go with it. Then interest. This is where it starts getting a little bit dicey. Okay, so what I had, interest payments of $1,762. So we're at $58,584. I had interest payments for 8 months of $1,762.50. You guys saw it there. I've had this loan for 10 months, but some of the initial down payment and cost, it's kind of like when you buy a house, you don't have a payment for the first, 60 days or 90. That's why I didn't have a payment for like 2 months after that, after closing. Plus, that's 8 full payments that came out of my bank account of $1,062.50. Okay. And if you guys want to know, again, you can go right here, new tab, and I've got it right here, cash for closing, sparklending.com/cash calculator. And if you plug in all your numbers here, this is down in the description. We're building a way better site that's going to have all this stuff free. It shows you what your payments look like, right? And this is not mine. This is just showing you, it shows that. Anyways, mine, and so I had 8 payments, but you guys saw that I have accruing interest, $57 and whatever cents every single day. So that equates to $1,762 every single month. And so basically you're gonna look at it, and if I close on the 31st, that's almost an entire another month. So let's just run the numbers. I have 58,584. I got to clear this. Again, I should be better at spreadsheets. And I have 1,762 times 8 because I only had 8 payments. So this is what I've paid. And you might be like, well, you're going to have a full month of interest coming up. You guys saw the payoff. The payoff has that included with it. So all I've got to subtract, and I've got times 8 is, no, that's right, times 8 equals $14,096, okay? So with that being said, we're at 14,000. So I got 58,584 minus $14,100. That equals 44,484. Then I have my realtor fees all said and done, are going to be $7,350. Then I've got, so with that all said and done, I have $37,134, okay? So that looks like it's what your profit is. But if we go back to the HUD, this is the closing document, you can see there that I have $31,276.18. So that's money I had to come out of pocket with. 10,000 of that, 11,000 was closing costs I don't get back, but the other 20,000 is kind of like my bank account. It was like, hey, we don't believe the property's worth that much, so we're only going to loan you this amount, meaning you got to come out of pocket this much more. Okay, so 20 something thousand of that is my money just sitting there in a bank account. So with that being said, minus 31,276.18 equals $5,857. So that is everything that I have paid on this, including $10,000, $10, $11, $12,000 in closing costs. If now I got to wait for the appraisal to come back. If everything goes through, that's what I'm owed. But wait, there's more. What happened was let me show you the inspection real quick because I got a few more G's coming out. Here's the repair request. So they did the inspection. Actually, it was pretty good. And they asked for add bracing support, missing strong back, so some framing, a little bit of mold remediation. They wanted new door jambs in the garage and electrical, so a breaker panel, some stuff with a breaker, outlets, have the AC and furnace serviced, and then gas line was incorrect, screws noted in the vent pipe, all this, right? And then the hot water heater, look at all this shit. Hot water draft hood, add trim collar, add insulation, install sediment trap, TPR drain valve, water heater. And so again, what I told Giovanni, I said, and his job is to report everything, offers everything. Here's what they said. We talked about it, and I go, what do you, I said, I don't want to fix all these things, but I also don't want to deter these buyers. The rotten door jambs in the garage, no, I'm not going to pay to have somebody come and replace that. It's not like a real issue. This is in the garage, right? Little pieces. Also, the hot water heater works perfect. It's almost new, and it's in the garage. I'm not going to add all this crap to it. I said, I really feel like the HVAC, I'm going to have it fully serviced, and I'll get it going the way they want, because they were really hit. And I told them to call the buyer's agent and ask what they wanted most, and that was really it. The electrical they wanted fixed. They're like, it's an electrical problem. I said, no problem. And they also wanted a new outlet, since I'm having an electrician go out there, in the back. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. The mold mildew, I was like, all right, that's in the master closet. Like, I didn't even see that. You got to go in the closet and around and look down. So I'm going to fix that, and then this framing. So while I was gone last week for spring break with my kids, so I'm calling, and the main things I needed to get fixed was the electrical and the HVAC. The rest of it I could do. So we sent that back to them. They said, you know what, we're cool with all that. So basically we had 4 items: fix the HVAC problems, do the electrical, do the mold here, and do the strong backs up here. I'm gonna actually go down there tomorrow and do the strong backs, and I didn't really know what it was. So I started asking around, and Hard Money Joe, this is why I love having a local hard money lender, because he's been helping me with not only this, but literally every day I talk to him about a million things. And he messaged a framer buddy of his, and this is what he drew up. I have the purlins in, and he goes, I would put in a couple more just to make him feel warm and fuzzy, and then put these boards across that support it. So I'm like, shit. I mean, I did a lot of framing building, when I was younger, no problem. Which is weird. I didn't really know or hear what a strong back is. So I'm going to go do that. Let's see. I'm going to go do the strong backs tomorrow. Come on. I already had electrician quote me at $850, but I have an electrician that I found here like 2-3 years ago. I hit him up. He's doing it for $350 and was supposed to do it last weekend, and now I haven't heard from him. Contractors be tough, y'all, but regardless, I'm going to get that electrical fixed, and then I'm going to go do the mold stuff. And I was talking to another guy who flips. He says, dude, I've done this a million times. He goes, I've had mold remediation companies come out, and this is exactly what they say. So it's basically, a lot of people say, there's Kills It. You can do that, but you can actually have a paint that has the mold remediation stuff in it too. And you can see it's kind of like a little, just this little spot right here. So you hit it with this paint, white paint that has, a long word in it, I don't really know, but then you can spray it with an oil-based Kills It. And what an oil-based Kills It does is doesn't allow any of the stains or anything to come through your new paint, and that'll work, to get that fixed. I should have probably just told him I'm not messing with it, but I also was like, that's pretty easy. So I'll go remediate that mold, and I'll do the framing. The electrical's either done, and he told me $350, or it's gonna get done. So I would imagine my materials for all this, just a couple 2x4s and that kind of stuff, we're probably looking at like $100 max for that. Okay, maybe 200 max, but I doubt it. And then this is 350. So, oh, and then HVAC. So the HVAC guy calls me and he's like, "Hey, dude, yeah, your hard pipe or your flex lined all the way into the HVAC. It needs to be hard piped out, and then there needs to be a drip line and all this other stuff." I'm like, "Okay." And then he goes, "Yeah, that flex line ran, or where is it? Right here. Screws on the furnace vent pipe. It needs to have no screws or tape, and it needs to be double wall locking B, and the furnace vent needs to clear combustible material." By at least an inch, so when it goes through the roof, right? So he gives me a quote to do all new, and he was calling it something, I can't remember what it's called, but let's see, this is the gas. So what he said was this is gonna cost $18.50 to put the new vent pipe in there and do all that stuff, and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, how about the gas line? He's like, another $1,800. I'm like, $3,600. I said, dude, I'm so sorry, man, but I can't pay that. I'm selling this is a flip. And then, you know, and then do the install sediment trap and all that. So he's looking at like $4,000. He goes, you know what? I think now thinking about it that I can reuse what you have there, remove the screws, and I can hook it up correctly. If I can do that, I could actually do the gas line. I will do a full service of the unit, and I'll do the sediment trap, and I will make and I'll clear it all for $1,800. And I'm like, if you can do that, just tell me where to sign. Now, I probably could have found a guy to do it even cheaper, but he was there and he could fix it. He came in, he goes, dude, I think I can fix it. So he removed the whole thing, gave me the pictures. He installed a new gas line. So he ripped that whole thing out, put all new hard pipe in there, the sediment trap, new flex line, and then rerouted that vent pipe and mounted it without screws, no tape. And then he also cut and mounted the new vent pipe so it wasn't an inch between any of the plywood and the roof. And he did that whole thing. So that was $1,800. So that's where I'm at currently right now. So minus $1,800 for the HVAC. And then minus, I'm going to have, okay, let's call it $200 for material. I think it'll be about $100. Okay. So I'm actually looking at almost a $4,000 profit as everything's set. And I can't believe that. I thought I was going to lose like 8 bill bones on this thing, dude. And it's just shocking to me that after everything that went wrong, all of the, like, and 10 months of holding and brutal and pain, I'm still going to walk away with 4 G's on this thing. So, you know, that, but then again, I just freaking at the beginning of this forgot that I paid Homeboy $3,000, right? So $857 is what I'm looking at. Dude, I'm the greatest house flipper in the world, man. You guys should buy my course. I'll sell you a course for $10,000 right now on how to make $800 on every flip. No problem, guaranteed. I'm the guru. Hey, I think what you guys learned from this YouTube channel, you guys are gonna beat me right out of the gate. You guys ain't gonna make half the mistakes I do because of what I made. So, $857. But here's at the end of the day, I'm gonna have $245, and I got to pay that loan off of $178. So, I mean, there's a big ass chunk of money. What was it, 60-something thousand coming back to my bank account. It's all money that I spent, but at least I'm getting it back and I can move forward onto some other projects. So with that being said, I've got that one closing. I'll update you guys on the next flip that I have under contract as well, and it looks pretty good too. I will break down all the numbers, the cost. And since this video is already almost, you know, an hour long, I'll save. Basically, your comment was, hey, would you do things differently? I think it probably takes a whole different video to explain what I would do differently, what I'm going to do forward. But the good news is what I'm going to do forward and differently, I will document. So again, I really appreciate you guys. It takes no time for you guys to hit the like button. Like, it literally costs you nothing and takes no time, but it really helps my videos out, and it's going to help more future flippers. I don't ask for anything else. But also make sure you subscribe. Next week, next video, I will dive into my other flip and where it's at and if I'll make money. Oh, and let me tease you, it got broken into again, mother fricker. So we'll talk about the break-in, blood in the sink, all of that kind of stuff. But right here, this is actually a video. If you want to see me in my most raw, candid of all, this is when I had a mental breakdown because of the flip that we just talked about. So you're going to go through these ups and downs and waves, and every flipper I've talked about said they have panic attacks except for the gurus. So this is a way that you can get through it. And honestly, you just need to hear what it's like when you're going through the worst time of a flip. Trust me, you're going to want to watch this video.